According to human rights group Survival International, around 100 uncontacted tribes are currently active around the world. Indigenous communities like this unnamed tribe in Brazil received a lot of attention last year when these photos spread across the internet. Over half of all isolated tribes are in Brazil and Peru, where most are thought to live in forests and areas protected by local governments. Other tribes are located in the naturally isolated South Pacific Islands and parts of South Asia. It's hard to imagine people who know nothing about our clothes, our books, buildings or machines, but they are out there, and they have been living for thousands of years in their own world. Isolated tribes have managed to avoid contact with the modern world, sometimes by chance but often on purpose, a feat becoming more and more difficult as encroaching land developers move into remote territories and threaten these tribes' very existence. In Paraguay, the Totobiego-Sore tribe were once nomadic hunters and gatherers, who now live in communal homes with 4 or 5 families. They're the most isolated of the indigenous Ayoreo people and the only uncontacted group in South America outside the Amazon. Almost all of their land is owned by private, powerful landowners, although under law it should be titled to the native people. The Paraguay government has come under fire for allowing the bulldozing of over 15,000 acres of tribal land, forcing many of the Totobiego-Sore people out of the forest to an uncertain fate. Today their population is estimated to be no more than 300. Though not all indigenous tribes are small in size, the Dongria Kondh of India is estimated to have upwards of 8,000 people. The Dongria are adept horticulturists that live and farm on the plateaus of the Nimgiri Hills, an area rich with streams supporting hundreds of villages. But the abundance of streams is due in part to the large amount of aluminium ore underground, which unfortunately has sparked the interest of a British mining company, and with permission from India's Supreme Court, the company has built a refinery at the base of the Dongria with plans to mine the entire hillside. This would not only disrupt the tribe's homes and farms, but it would destroy the mountain itself, a sacred site considered to be the home of the Dongria god. On the North Sentinel Island in the Bay of Bengal, the Sentinelese people, with a population estimated to be between 50 to 200, are considered the most isolated humans on Earth and offensively resist outside contact. Known for throwing stones and shooting arrows at any visitors who approach the island, they've called their land home for 60,000 years and want to keep it that way. In 2006, 2 outsiders fishing near the island were killed by Sentinelese archers, and helicopters sent to retrieve the bodies were shooed away by a hail of arrows, unable to land. Regardless of human desire, at this point, the benefits to extreme isolation can be justified in the fear of contracting diseases. Without immunities to diseases like the common cold, flu or chickenpox, and without access to modern medical facilities, contact with outsiders can be deadly. It's a generally accepted ethical rule amongst academians and researchers that our own curiosity should not supersede the well-being of uncontacted tribes, and that it's generally best to leave them be. Contact with outsiders can also have massive repercussions on the culture and religions of these tribes. Consider the cargo cults on the island Tanna in Vanuatu. The John Frum movement is a cult that worships an American soldier named John Frum, or perhaps a corruption of John from America, who, as the legend goes, brought valuable cargo to the island during World War II. Followers believe John Frum will return on February 15th and celebrate this day each year by raising American flags, painting USA on their chests, and building a landing strip for the return of his plane. You just never know what kind of an effect you can have, and as the modern world stretches its legs, many uncontacted tribes may eventually be forced out of isolation. Hopefully the modern world can learn from its past transgressions with native peoples and do more to ease the process.